What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marriage Unmastered. As always, it's your host, Hen, and my beautiful, amazing wife, Shireal.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
We got a great topic for you. Interesting.
So here's the thing. This topic, just so y'all know, really came about from the Live Fridays. So if you haven't had a chance to join Live Friday with us on Instagram, every Friday, 11:09 p.m.-ish. We trying to get there at 11:09, but anyways, around 11:09, you'll see the little circle light up that we live. We go live, have conversations with y'all, and things come up, and this is just one of the things that came up this week. So this topic is, can I get my drum roll?
Oh.
The topic is, what if I cheated? Wait, I want to back up a little bit too. If you don't know the story behind the drum roll, you got to go back to season 1. Every week, Henry used to make me do the drum roll. I'd be like, bruh, I'm not good at drum rolls. And then I guess eventually he just caught on and realized I'm not, and he stopped doing that. But I feel like since we've been on the audio for the last couple weeks, bring a little bit of season 1 back. But this is the last week we on the audio, y'all. So I hope you've been enjoying this audio or video. Anyways, though, so Hen, what if I cheated?
Oh, man. So the funny thing is, when a woman cheats, right, it's harder for the man to accept it, to forgive it, and to move past it.
Tell me why.
Because men, we love harder than y'all. We love harder than women, right?
Wait.
Absolutely.
Men love harder than women? Tell me why.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
Have you ever heard a story of a man who has been through like multiple heartbreaks?
Multiple? I guess. Not really.
Exactly. Because we only need like one. It takes one woman to like destroy us or make us better. Like, that's it. You got pretty much one chance.
Wow. Really?
Why you say it like that? Wow, like it's...
Because I never really thought about that. Like, have I ever heard of a man that had multiple heartbreaks?
Exactly. Right? And that's a given fact. You know what I'm saying? If we being honest, men can't go through that many heartbreaks because we love so hard. And because the way we love a woman, like once we're in, we in. And like if our heart is broken, you better forget about it. Like picking up the pieces of a shattered glass, you can do that, but think about this, every piece is gonna hurt because every piece is sharp.
Is that like man loving harder, or is it? I mean, because I feel like as a woman, I love hard. So I don't know. I like, you feel like you love me harder than I love you?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
You know, so it's funny that you say that, because I don't know who, it was one of my older aunts or grandmother, but they always said a man should love a woman more than a woman loves a man for the relationship to like be successful.
That a man should love harder than a woman?
More. Like a man should love his woman more than she loves him.
Why so?
Because I guess like how you said, because of how men operate. Like when a man loves you, like it's you. Like women, like you don't have to like be like so in love with to be faithful. But like men almost have to be like, yes, this is the one that's it to be faithful.
I don't necessarily like agree with that wholeheartedly, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like, so I'll go back to like a relationship from like 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
She loved...
You're talking about you?
Yeah, talking about me.
Okay.
So this person that I dated, she loved me like way more than I loved her. which in turn
Or
caused.
she acted like she loved you more.
No, she did, because she told me like she was like green, like because after we broke up years down the road, we talked, and she would say like she said, "Man, I used to be green for you."
What does
And,
that mean?
Like head over heels for you, like just like
Okay.
I loved you way more than I probably what I should have, because for me, I abused the relationship, so I wasn't like. Not that I wasn't faithful, I just was not present. It was like, oh, okay, like you love me, like all right, thank you, like I appreciate it. Because for one, I was young, I wasn't as mature, and I didn't appreciate what was given to me at the time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that can happen with both parties.
So you're saying you were faithful even though you didn't really love her like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was faithful. I was just like, I wasn't to the level of where she was.
Love wise.
Yeah, like she like, how do you say it? Like like just not crazy head over heels for me, but just like she couldn't see any fault in me.
Wow.
And I learned that, hey, I'm not good for you because I see my faults, like, and so with stuff like that, you don't appreciate people. And it can go for women and men, vice versa.
But what about biblically? So, like, biblically, it even states in the Bible, in Ephesians, like, a man should love his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't say that a wife should love her husband. It says a wife should respect her husband and submit and, it has that type of words, but it doesn't say love.
So, for a woman when the Bible says for a woman to submit to her husband and for a man to submit to his wife, that is a form of love, because in order to submit, you can't submit like with an attitude, and you don't think like submitting like with an ulterior motive or submitting.
Slaves submitted.
Huh?
Slaves submitted. You could submit without love.
It's not, to me, it's not genuine. Like,
it don't have to be genuine. Submission is,
no, I'm saying it should be genuine.
It should be, but I'm saying, as a woman, I also know, as a woman, I can be in a relationship with a person that I'm not like totally in love with, and still respect them enough to, be faithful, be quote unquote submissive, be, a good girlfriend or a good whatever wife. I don't think once you get to the level of wife, we're talking the same language, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like if I'm talking about past relationships, I've definitely been able to be wife-like, even though I wasn't like head over the hills in love.
Wow. So you said, I want to go back to the beginning part of that statement. You can be in a relationship with somebody and not really be like in love.
Yeah.
Wow.
Plenty of relationships. You mean to tell me every relationship you've been in love?
Well, I would expect close to it, or some part of it. Like, to me, if I'm not in that mode or
in love
or moving towards it, I think like that's like wasting time.
And then you break up. I mean, I've been in relationships. I mean, before we got married, I was in a couple relationships. Now, I'm not gonna say like a whole bunch, but I was in a handful of relationships, and every single one of them, I can 100% say I wasn't in love. I feel like I, at some point in the relationship, felt like, oh yeah, I love this person. But like in love, like how I love you, well, obviously not how I love you, but in love, like can't live without, like my heart hurts, like all that. Not every relationship.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I guess, could that be equated to say like you were dating?
I'm talking about like,
is that the equivalent
calling
of saying
this person my boyfriend?
Your boo thing?
Yeah, or whatever. You know what I mean? I've definitely dated people and not been like in love.
Dated or been in a relationship
like in a relationship, like been in a relationship with someone and been like, I mean, like I love them, like as a person, they're good, nice people, obviously, or you know, we had fun together, but that didn't mean I was in love. But okay, I feel like we're way. So
we are off the. But that's fine. That's where it's leading us to.
I think the point is it all brings it back to you said a man loves harder than a woman. That's where this really came from.
Yeah, in the reference to like if you cheated.
Okay.
Well, that's like if a woman cheated,
right?
Like men love harder, and it's harder to recover when a woman cheats on them.
But so what do you think it feels like for a woman? Like, so, because let's use our example. I always, you know, again, we've had this conversation on several occasions. I always say you have an opportunity. Like, you do have one time to step out on our marriage. I don't know what that's going to look like as far as the healing process, but I do believe that if you were to cheat, I would find a way for us, if that were something that was available, so I would find a way to get past it.
So let me say this, like, disclaimer. Let's try to stop saying it like that, because it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
When you be like, you have one opportunity. That's like putting in the atmosphere like you can go. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I don't want to have that perspective on our marriage, and I don't want our listeners to like say like, oh, you can get one chance.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how I'm feeling. How it's coming off of like.
All right, I don't want.
It's weird.
The feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like.
So let's clean it up a little. The point I'm saying is, God forbid, in a situation happened, I think that for the sake of our marriage, I would want to at least try.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying if it was reversed, though, it wouldn't be the same thing.
Nah, that'd be tough for me, cause we be like, I'm all set. Like,
what was that? Click, click, click.
I was trying to clap my hands when I'm holding the mic, so.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I try to get like the sound effects.
So you would just be all set with our marriage?
No, I can't say that because I'm a forgiving person. I think you know how big my heart is, but at the same time, when a man gets cheated on, this is what it is. He don't want to feel like a dummy. Men do not like to feel dumb. We don't like to feel abused, mistreated, or hurt, or even embarrassed. Right?
I could get with embarrassed. Oh, do not embarrass.
Yeah, because like
I could get with that.
If you like cheated say the wife cheated secretly, and the husband didn't know unless the wife told him, that you could recover from that, right?
You think so?
I think
so. It don't have nothing to do with the fact that you feel like another man entered my wife.
Absolutely, but I'm saying it can recover because like if she tell you, like. And I gotta see. I got my hands out because it's real intense right now.
Yeah. If we was on video, y'all be laughing.
If she tell you or tell me or whatever, I'm like, all right,
mm-hmm.
I may be able to deal with it because you telling me. Don't nobody else know. But if somebody else like get the information, and then I found out either that way or it's confirmed after you tell me, it's like, come on, man, really? I might looking stupid.
I can 100% agree with you on that. Okay, I feel like that is one of my criteria when I make this statement like you got one chance. It really does come down to how did it go down, right?
Yeah.
It really does come down to that. Like, how did this situation go down? Did you one day be out with your boys out in Vegas, slip up, and come back home, yo, babe, my bad. Okay, I feel like that's a situation I could be like.
By the way, y'all, we said we will never go on vacations without each other.
Which I feel like as we get older, that's probably gonna not be totally true. I feel like, yes, so far we haven't much done so. And we definitely don't have the desire to vacation alone. However, I'm just making up a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
In the event that it was like, ooh, one time my bad messed up, that's like, definitely can forgive that. But what if it's like, ooh, I was messing with this person for 6 months to a year. I caught feelings.
That's not cheating. That's an affair.
That is an affair.
That's a relationship right there.
You love them.
Yeah. You putting time and energy into them.
Yo, I'm hurt. That is embarrassing. It's embarrassing even if nobody else knows, because I'm embarrassed that you've been stepping out. You've been lying. You've been sneaking. It's like a whole nother level now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
It's
had
like,
to become like
you've been lying
multiple
to me.
people.
Yeah. You've been sneaking out. You've been running to the gas station, making phone calls. You know what I mean? Like so I would feel deceived.
Oh, that sounds like when the enemy deceived Eve in the garden.
Yo, so now it's like I'm walking around here and I can see you looking at me naked. Like, I gotta put clothes on. I feel uncomfortable around you. Like, that would totally
check
change
this.
the perspective.
Let me tell you this story.
Okay.
Steve McNair, right? He was a football player for the Tennessee Titans, like a black quarterback, years ago. He had an affair with his wife. I think his wife, his what you call it, the person that's cheating?
The person who's having adultery. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
mistress,
side chick.
The mistress.
Oh, side chick.
She killed him.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is a true story.
She killed him?
She killed him, and then she shot herself. And it was like dead in the living room of the house. And like the wife, I believe, if my story is correct, like the wife found him, and so the wife had to bury both of them.
What? Huh?
Yeah, and why
she had to bury her?
I don't know, but it was like,
either, because
you gotta,
the morgue could take that body.
But you gotta think, you at your husband's funeral, and he dead because his mistress shot him.
Oh my God!
Like, that is like the ultimate disrespect and embarrassment of like, you cheated or you had an affair.
Do I even go to that funeral?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what would you do? She was there, but like, I credit her because of the strength she had to even be there with their children. You know what I'm saying?
The kids.
But think about the stories and the whispers at the funeral. What do you say at the funeral? How do you...
Yeah, I'll be like, I know what y'all are thinking.
How do you preach a sermon like that?
I'm thinking it too.
You might as well just have a memorial service and just play his football accolades and then be like, all right, y'all have a good night.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's an example of like just the embarrassment that no man or woman would want to go through.
That is beyond. But yo, it's crazy though, because think about it though. That's not the only story in the history of the world where a mistress has killed the person or vice versa. Like, it's because the deceit gets so real that anything can happen. My aunt used to say, if you could lie, you could steal. If you could steal, you could kill. And it really is the premise of every sin really equals the next sin. Like, you have to keep building on it. Like, okay, I told a lie. Oh, but now I got to get out of this lie, so I got to tell them another lie. Oh, now I got to tell another lie. Oh, now I got to do this to cover that lie. Like, it just keeps building and building and building. You just you almost just keep digging yourself deeper into a hole. And it's almost like that when I think about an affair. Like, you're just digging and digging and digging and digging until it's so deep to the point where you either gonna get buried or you're gonna have to like really find a way to get like climb or get pulled out of that hole. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Do you know that I used to hate when you watched that show called The Affair on Showtime?
Oh, really? Why? I hated that show.
You loved that show.
No, I hated that show. That was one. You ever watch a show that you just invested? Like, you start watching it and you hate it, but you just need to know what's gonna happen next. What? You never did that?
I can't recall.
Yo, I hated that show.
You say you hated it, but you was always watching it.
Because I wanted to know what was gonna happen. Like,
so I used to hate it because of the simple fact of what it was called, The Affair. And I was like, why do you like this show?
I didn't like it. I hated it.
See, you said it to me now, but like you watching it in the middle of the night and be like, Henry, I'm watching the show, like that gives me different vibes.
You watch all type of crazy stuff.
So, but listen. I used to hate when you watch it because I was like, I hated the name The Affair. And I felt like that was an interest to you. And why is that an interest to you?
It used to make me mad, actually.
Well, I'm glad I know now.
It's funny though, but I watch shows that make me mad. But that's the thing. For me, like, if I don't feel emotionally invested in it, I won't even watch it. Like, I'll stop watching the show. Like, you know how you could watch those, like, real ratchet, like, really don't have investment in it. Like, I can't watch TV like that. I have to, like, if you can't.
I think now, like, my taste has changed because I used to love the ratchet TV.
Oh my God, you did. It drove me crazy. Like, see, that's funny. I used to hate when you would watch stuff like that because to me, it's like mindless. Like, for me, you have to wrap me up in it. Like, I want to. So, like, for me, it's always like a hero and a villain, right? So let's use that show for example, The Affair. When I used to watch The Affair, I used to root for the wife. And I used to be like hating the mistress. And I used to try to like always find a way, like how could they get back together? How could they get out of this situation? And that's the thing about that show too. It would give you little teasers where he'd like kind of go back to his wife. I'm like, okay, is he gonna leave her? Like, you know what I mean? So that show, the writers had a really good way of making you connect with one of the characters, like love and hate somebody. I hated the mistress. I loved the wife. And like it's funny. Anything I watch, there's always like a particular character where I'm like rooting for. Like one of the shows that I'm kind of watching right now is The Big Bang Theory. Like this show has been out for I don't even know how many years. It's like 12 seasons, and people talked about it all the time. But my mother-in-law, she watches Young Sheldon, and she kind of got me watching Young Sheldon. And I was like, once you watch that, it's like, okay, what happened when they grew up? So that's kind of how I started watching The Big Bang Theory. But Sheldon is such a peculiar person, right? Like it's just he's so annoying. Like he's so peculiar, but he's so wise, but he's so stupid at the same time. But anyways, he ends up meeting this girl, and she's like very smart as well. But she is a woman and she wants to feel like a woman. She wants to feel beautiful. She wants to be in an intimate relationship with the man that she loves. But Sheldon is so peculiar. He just can't get there right away. So what has drawn me into this is her. Like I'm rooting for her. I'm like, yo, she's really gonna stay with this dude. He took 3 years to kiss her. He took 4 years to tell her she looked pretty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like crazy how for me as a writer, when a writer hooks me in, it's like how they hook me in. Like, what am I invested in? Like, I'm invested in that story. Like, I want to know. Like, and I already know from watching Young Sheldon that they ended up getting married and having a baby. So I'm already waiting for that. Like, yo, what? She stays with him? You know what I mean? So I'm already waiting to see how that story kind of unfolds. And so that's why when I watch TV, I'm like, I'm totally invested in something in that. Okay, we're really off on a tangent, but
yeah, because you're talking about Young Sheldon.
I'm talking about it because you brought up The Affair, and I'm saying I was invested in those characters, and I'm saying when
I only said I hated The Affair because I was like, we're newly married, and you watching a show called The Affair.
Were we newly married? Yeah, we were.
Yeah, and I was like, I felt like, why are you watching something that's like could be detrimental to our marriage?
Oh my God!
Or can give you ideas or
so
thoughts.
Dramatic.
But that's how I was processing it. I was feeling like anything we do or say or watch could affect like our marriage in many ways.
That's true.
Because think, I love movies, right? Mm-hmm. I love Denzel movies.
I was about to say you watch all kind of movies.
I can quote movies back to back to back.
Right.
Watching 1 or 2 times, but then it's like, does it have an effect on how I think on things or how I deal with things? You know what I'm saying?
I think that yes. I think that there are definitely situations where you could be around something enough where it affects how you move. But I think that's just different. That's different. I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. The whole point of all of this is, though, I think ultimately what we've been able to unfold through this conversation is when it comes to cheating or stepping out on your marriage, it really matters how it went down. That's what it kind of sounds like.
It's different. So let me say this too to y'all listening. The reason why this, like Shireal said, why this topic came up is because on a live Friday, we had a lot of interesting comments and feedback from our viewers and listeners, like about the episodes of like cheating or stepping out or having
I think it was the guy that the question, right? Somebody had a question, and it was like, how long have you? There was like, I'm a new listener. How long have y'all been married? We was like 9 years. There's like, okay, what if one of y'all cheated? Like that was a question.
Okay.
That's how
I was thinking about like the other stuff too that was added in there, like the extra relationships in the marriage.
I think that question kind of sparked that.
Okay.
Right. So that's when we were like talking about it. So then I was like, yo, let's have that as a topic.
Yeah, you right.
Ultimately, though, I think it's good because I think that it's not necessarily the most comfortable conversation that you have in a marriage. But I think that it's probably just like having a life insurance policy. Like, you should probably talk through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, kind of get it all out there.
Yeah. I would say like, not that it's comfortable, but it's like okay talking about it because thank God we haven't experienced that.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I don't want to talk about it. You fearful to talk about it because you don't want to like put something in the atmosphere. You get what I'm saying?
I understand that 100%. I had a question for you though.
Oh shoot.
No, this one is good. I would like to hear from listeners too. I would like to hear what y'all think about this. Would you prefer if I or a spouse, the man or the wife, found themselves kind of interested in someone else to come home and talk to you about it?
Ooh.
Like, or you know what I'm saying? Instead of, because for them maybe it's a way like, let me get it out so it don't build into something else. Let me talk to my spouse about it. What would you like? Would you want that, or would you just want them to just keep it in their head?
So I'm like indifferent about it because I feel like if I get ahead of things, I'll be all right. If I talk to you, I feel like I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would I really think about how I'm gonna bring it to you? Because as a husband, you got to be wise about bringing stuff to your wife.
Yeah.
Because
and vice versa.
Yeah, because if I say something to you, oh yeah, it's one of your little friends. Like it can, I can already hear you say, yeah, I already know. It's one of your little friends you be seeing. Da, 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 da.
Okay.
And it turns a whole. Don't okay me because you know it's the truth. It'll be a whole big thing. I'm like, I was just being honest and just transparent in the marriage because I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling.
Yes.
Hold on.
I ain't
done. Okay. That's if like a man says something to the wife. In other instances, I could be like, nah, let me keep this to myself. Let me for one, like, if I'm gonna be mature, I'm a mature husband, let me talk to God about it and say, Lord, what is this that I'm feeling? Like, what's in me? Because we're not enticed, we're drawn away and enticed of our own lust and our own stuff inside of us. So that's a scripture. Like, because God doesn't tempt man of sin, but we are drawn away of our own lust. So it's things inside of us that cause these different reactions, or cause us to go into different things. I believe it's in 1 Peter.
Okay, yeah. I get that.
And then it's like I also feel like you should have a group of men that you can be able to talk to and have wise counsel and express yourself and feel comfortable and not judge and to be like, hey, listen, I got some issues that I'm going through. One, if y'all can't help me, what is the best solution for me to do getting through this? Because some might be like, tell your wife, talk to your wife. And some be like, if you're not ready for that explosion, don't send it to your wife yet. Goodness. You know, like, let's talk about it. Like, change your surroundings, change the way you move.
You know what's funny though? What's funny is you really do have to be careful. Because let me tell you from a woman's perspective, right? So say you pray about it and you think about it, you're like, nah, let me talk to my wife about it. And say you come to me and you like, babe, I want to talk to you about something. I want you to know I prayed about it. I just want you to get this out there so that you know what I'm going through or whatever, right? So now I'm really open-minded. I'm like listening when you tell me, you're like, okay, there's the situation. Here's the thing as a woman, right? This is why you have to kind of really be careful with women, because immediately I start to feel insecure. And that insecurity is where you could like find cracks. So I think that would be my biggest thing, because now I'm like, well, what does she look like? What is it about her? What is it that I'm not doing? You know, I start to kind of blame myself, and that brings insecurity. Like, the great thing about where we are right now in our marriage is I feel totally secure. So my vulnerability is like just totally vulnerable with you. I could walk around however, my hair don't got to be done. I could be sick. I could be, you know, it's like a total comfort. And the moment something like that happens, that changes. Like, that all goes away, you know, because I'm self-conscious. Like, or maybe because I did this, or maybe because, you know, I gained this weight, or maybe because I don't wear my hair the same as I used to. You know, like, it'll be so many things that would change. And once that changes, that's going to change the dynamic of our relationship, because I'm going to be more concerned with what I'm doing right or wrong than just being me. So I get why that could be like different. Or I don't know, maybe I would think differently. Maybe I'd be like, you need to stop hanging with these dudes. You know, I don't know. Like, you know, it could be totally different. I don't know. But I do believe that would become a factor. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me say, insecurity does not look good on you. It don't look good on me. So you don't have to. I'm glad you are vulnerable with me, because I don't like the way insecurity looks on you. Like, you don't need it. You get what I'm trying to say? But
I do. But thankfully, like, you don't ever make me feel insecure. Like, even when I'm not 100% happy with myself. Like today, when I was just running downstairs to tell you something, and I was trying on my outfit, and you opened your eyes like out of your sleep and was just like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." And I'm like, "What?"
That was when, like an hour ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
You just opened your eyes and it was like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." And I'm like, this ain't even done. You know what I mean? I'm just trying this on.
I might have said that so you wouldn't yell at me because I was asleep.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
I'm joking. No. I know, Shireal. You are beautiful.
Nah, get out of here. Let's try to fix that.
No, anyways, I'm not fixing that. I was just being funny.
The point I was trying to make, but you totally took that away, is you have a way of making me feel secure even when I don't feel secure in myself.
No, that deserves a kiss.
Oh. Anyways, so this has been a very interesting topic.
It still is. Go ahead, you had a question?
No,
because I want to continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's good. So I have a minor story, right? I was listening to what's they podcast? Duvall.
Oh, that A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was explaining something that they went through a phase in their marriage where he had met somebody and they had became friends, and he told his wife about her, and she was like, "Oh, okay, like that's cool," like just like downplayed it, and he was like, "No, I really need to talk to you because if it's like a person I see can smash or mean to have sex one time and be
I
done,
know what smash
yeah."
is.
Well, I'm just saying for people who may not understand.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but he really became friends with her, and they developed like a friendship. And he was like, "Yo, I really like her, like her as a friend, like." And when he told, what's her name, Kadeen? Yeah, I'm trying. I don't like to mess up people's names.
Yeah.
Like when he told her, she was like, "Okay, we need to talk, like, cause what's going on?" Like, just saying, like, why is it like this? Why is this attraction growing as as a friendship? And he was like, I had to really be honest and be like I can't be friends with you no more.
Oh yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Like, because
I'm your friend.
Yeah, like I'm so cool and I'm so open that something can happen that I don't want to happen because I love my wife.
Yeah.
Like, and it could be like small things just like that can just slip, and the enemy can just take those things and cause a big problem, and you won't even know it or see it coming until you be like, you get in somebody's presence, you be like, you get heart flooded, you be like, whoa.
Think about when we got married,
mm-hmm.
and you had friends, right? Yep. And genuinely just your friends, right? But you had friendship with them before we were married, and y'all talked about things, just friendship things, but still that was like y'all were confidants.
Yeah.
Like when we got married, that confidant made me uncomfortable. Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm your confidant now. Like, you shouldn't be having other confidants. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It should be me. It should be me only. And I don't mean that in a way where I don't believe that.
No,
men and women should be able to have friends.
You mean it in a way.
I mean it exactly how I'm saying it is. I should always be your first call. Outside of your mama or whatever. Even then, like for the most part, you should call your mama second. Like at the I don't know.
I think for me, you seem like you're a little ruffled.
That's crazy. That made me more uncomfortable than the sleeping with somebody thing.
You know why?
It's the relationship.
Because when you don't sleep with someone, my brother-in-law told me, he was like, Hen, when you don't sleep with a woman, he says she will give you everything. She'll give you her soul, everything, because she can trust you, and she'll open up to you. And even still, if you don't lay with her, you have her for life. He was like, but when you sleep with a woman, she shuts up everything, and everything is sacred. Like, she won't give you conversation, but she'll give you her body.
Huh?
She won't give you like emotions, but she can give you her body. Like, he was saying, like, he was giving me game, like the dynamics of like how women can be. And I'm saying that because what you referenced, like the friendship, it made you so uncomfortable. Like, you didn't even have to sleep with nobody, but the fact that you had a friendship and you were like a confidant, that caused you to be
yeah, you don't get to have confidence. I am it.
You are it.
I am the God and then me. That's how this gets to work.
I mean, but me, honestly, I had to grow into that. I didn't know how to operate on that level.
Yeah, that was a journey for us.
As a husband, that was something new.
It was totally new for me. I felt like.
But then again, you gotta think. Like, when stuff is different and it's hurtful and it's like a type of a suffering, is it like reaping what you sown?
What you try? Hold up, brother.
No, not you, but I'm saying in general, when people go through things like Calm down. You feel attacked.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Don't feel attacked.
You said, am I reaping what I sowed?
This is a transparent moment for both of us.
First of all, if we're going to be totally honest, yes, I think it was some reaping and sowing that was happening for me, especially if, for those of you who don't know, before, many moons before I met my husband, when I was very, very young and naive, God. I was a mistress. I was in an adulterous situation, and I wrote a book about it. Go buy the book. Me and My Man's Wife. Not a big deal.
You didn't buy a book. You didn't write a book. You wrote a novel.
I wrote
a 3-part series. This is part 1.
Okay, stop. Don't go into all that. There's one book out right now that's available. Anyways, I'm saying it to say it's loosely based. Very loosely based. Anyways, the whole point about it is it's not a secret that I, at one point in my life, had been in a relationship where I was the mistress. So when I got married, I had a lot of praying and seeking and forgiving of my own self to even trust that our marriage could work, because I always thought that I could reap and sow from that. So
can we talk about that a little more, or is that uncomfortable right now?
Oh no, I'm not uncomfortable at all. It is what it is. I think that, so especially in year 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it was definitely a lot of forgiving that had to happen. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive the other parties that were involved. I had to believe that even though those things happened, that didn't necessarily have to happen to me. But I also believe that if we circle back to that, that's why I am the type of person where I feel like I would give you a shot. Because I feel like maybe I would have to reap that. So I'm just saying. No. You said you wanted to talk about it more.
No. I'm saying not say shot, like give you grace.
Grace. That's a better word. There would be grace involved. I also like to believe, for me, I can't speak for every situation, that one of the reasons I was able to forgive myself, because believe it or not, at least, and I can only speak from my experience, I was very unhappy with myself throughout that whole time. And I had to forgive myself for that, for being as naive as I was, for letting it last as long as it did, for many things that happened. I had to forgive myself. And that's a big part of being able to grow. Like if you keep condemning yourself over and over for things that happened in your past, then you can't ever grow. So
I'm glad you said that, use that word in that statement, like condemning yourself. Like, so now therefore there is no condemnation to them who are in Christ Jesus, right? Who walk after the Spirit and not after the flesh. So like when we are born again and we get saved, right? We give our life to Christ. And it's a tough thing to do, because you have to change we as Christians have to change our mindset. Is like, I'm no longer condemned for what I did. And I know for you, it was a hard thing to learn how to forgive yourself.
Oh yeah,
and to like start over and to love yourself like the right way. Like,
It took a long time.
I could only imagine.
It took a long time. One of the things, though, and again, I can only speak for myself, that helped me was I really had to like analyze the whole situation that I had gone through. And one of the things that I feel like for me, again, I can only speak for myself, I feel like I was able to give myself grace was I wasn't the mistress, like, leave your wife. That wasn't my story. Like, once I found out that we're married, I was already in it emotionally. So that's why I let it drag out as long as I did. But when they would come to me with nonsense like, I'm going to leave them, I'd be like, nah, don't do that. Hold up. Or we would be in a hanging together, and she would cross my mind. I'd be like, "Yo, you should go home," or like I was never trying to make him.
That's crazy. It was
leave.
It's like you was okay playing your position.
I wasn't okay playing my position though. I wasn't.
When I say, okay, so I need you to understand, like when I speak a certain way, I don't want you to get offended.
I'm not offended, but I'm also telling you that's not what it was okay with.
You just say you wasn't okay, but
I wasn't okay with it.
When I mean okay, playing your position, like you was over here, you wasn't trying to mess that up, you was just over here.
But I wasn't even over there. Like my body was there, but my mind was like. It's like my body had fell in love with the situation, but my mind was like not even in my body. Like mentally, I was never even there, but physically, I was caught up. I mean, I hope that makes sense to somebody. I really do, but especially, I was 21 years old. And, just thinking I'm grown, you know what I'm saying? And life really just kind of snatched me up and hit me. I think, though, God has always been my center. So that spirit never made me feel like anything I was doing was okay. You know what I mean? Like, when you ain't doing something right when you're in Christ. Like, you know. No, you could do it as long as you want, but you're still going to feel convicted.
Absolutely.
That conviction, you can ignore it, you can act like it ain't there, you could dance around it, but it's like it just sits there like a pit in your stomach. You know what I mean? And so I guess that's probably a better way for me to explain it. As far as when you say you was okay playing your position, I wasn't okay playing it. I was just playing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyways, like...
Nah, I feel you. I understand.
The point of all that is now we're married, right? And we're having this conversation about affairs and unfaithfulness and things like that, right? Like, you wonder, like, when you go through things in your life, and is it a setup for something else? Like, was it just a setup for this conversation? Was it a setup for this ministry that we have so that we would have a way to even talk about it? You know what I mean? Because, I don't know. Like, it's like in your life, all these things happen, but they happen for a reason. I really do like to believe that. I know it doesn't always feel great, right? But for me, I've always believed that things happen for a reason, so when you're a person like me who thinks that way, you can also be like a person that thinks it happened for a reason. So you could think, what could the reasons be? And for me, for a long time, the reason was, well, I guess when I get married, my husband's going to cheat and I'm going to have to forgive him.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Dang, so you had like a preconceived notion. Yeah. Like preparation.
Yeah, and still, I feel like the fact that I could sit here and say, most women look at you, probably are listening to me and looking at me like, she's crazy. I'm not giving him one chance. If he cheated on me, that's it. Most women would probably say that, but I don't. That's not my statement. My statement is, we'll have to see.
Nah, you probably was like telling yourself, he's a good man, Savannah.
Shut. You know what? That's the end of this. Yeah, this conversation has went in so many different directions, and Henry has just taken it to its close.
No, that was on my mind to say, he's a good man, Savannah.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. We want to hear from you, please. I feel like this conversation could go all night, but I want to hear your stories. I want to hear how you think.
I want to do a part 2.
I don't know about all that. But I at least want y'all to join the Friday live and let's talk about it. I want to hear, what's your perspective? What would you do if your spouse cheated? I want to know. All right, y'all. This has been very uncomfortable, but I think very necessary.
Right. That's good. I enjoyed it. We talked it out. For us podcasting, it's always like, is healing for us, and it helps us grow in our marriage, you know, and just discover things about ourselves and this thing called marriage that we did not know. And puts it in perspective, because like marriage is great, but it got its, you know, its own issues, and it's like you can't just bypass things. Like you got to talk about stuff.
Yes, you do.
You got to be honest.
Yes.
So we appreciate y'all. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Yes, tell a friend to tell a friend. And again, join us on IG on Fridays, 11:09. And hopefully, we are really, really hopeful that this is our last week on just the audio. But I am healing. I'm getting better. Thank y'all for being patient with us as we went through this personal situation in our family. And we love y'all. And we will talk to y'all next week on Marriage Unmastered.
Peace.
Bye.